Hi guys, so I wanted to just do a quick video to explain to you exactly what a high pass filter actually does. There's probably videos already out there on YouTube that do this, but I wanted to explain it in my way because it'll go hand in hand with my course and it'll go hand in hand with the other videos that I've uploaded. So as you know, these are my decks here, and these are the knobs that change the high pass and low pass. So this button here cuts the highs, this cuts or boosts the mids, and then this cuts or boosts the lows, and then this filter here sweeps away all the highs and sweeps away all the lows. Okay, so highs, mids and lows. So what exactly does that mean? So it means low is the bass frequencies. So low would be if I spoke really low like this, and then high would be if I spoke really high. So the highs are the really high frequencies and the low are the really low frequencies, and cutting or boosting them is what you're doing here. And I kind of wanted to show you visually what I'm talking about. So this is a music program called Ableton. I'm not going to go into the specifics of Ableton, but I'm just going to show you. This is a spectrum that shows frequencies. So this is a song that I'm kind of currently working on. It's not a, nothing special, but I just wanted to show you more from the visuals here. So you'll see as soon as I press play, there'll be kind of movement all along here. And the movement down around this end are the lows, and the movement up around this end are the highs. So you can see the lows and the highs. Now, the thing that will demonstrate this the most is with this program you can cut away the lows or the highs, which is exactly what you would be doing here. So if you were to move this up in this direction, so spin it around in that direction, you'd be cutting the lows and only showing the highs. So I'll show you this, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to move this up, and this cuts the lows. And watch how it gets rid of the frequencies down here, so the movement stops down here and it cuts away. And notice what it also does to the sound. So you'll hear that all the bass will go, okay? I'm actually gonna, to keep it a bit smoother, I'm just gonna use this down here so I can do that. Okay, ready? So you can see it's only playing those now, and you can only hear the highs. And exactly the same, if I was to select this one and move it down, watch what happens. It'll just hear the lows. And it sounds like you've just stepped outside a club or something like that, because you can't really hear the highs. And I'll just go to a bit with a bit of a bass to it so you can... You see, it's like standing outside the nightclub, because all the doors and the walls have cut out all the highs, and the only thing that travels is the bass, which is why it sounds a bit like that. Now, there's one other thing which I kind of want to run you through, which links back into the DJ. Actually, two things. The other thing I wanted to say is, if you boost the highs, that's just turning the highs up. So, in the same way, if I was to get this pointer here and move it towards the highs and then boost it, so watch, this would happen. So, if you boosted it, you can hear that tick, 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 tick. Sounds louder. Watch. And if you cut it, so that happens. And exactly the same if you were to do the mids, that's about here, the middle, and it would sound like this. Or if you cut the mids, it would sound a bit like that. And of course, bass is the same. Cool. Okay, so there's one last thing that I wanted to tell you, which I think is really relevant here. In most dance music, and I explain this a bit more in my course, you will find that before a drop, there's often a lot of stuff like this going on. Oh, let me just make sure this is completely off. So if you listen to this, you often get a lot of this kind of white noise. You'll hear lots of that in dance music, like something's about to happen before it drops. So you'll get this kind of thing. You'll hear it coming louder. And what it is when music is all about building tension and then releasing tension. So what you'll find is what happens quite a lot as well is people will take out the bass just before, because it adds to that high pitch kind of. So watch, I'm going to play exactly what I just played you then, but I'm going to show you what can also be done, which a lot of people do in music production as well, is cut the bass before the drop. So watch. So I'm going to cut the bass. Bring it back. Because the bass is what everybody's waiting for in every song. So when it goes higher and higher and higher, the thing that people dance to in songs is bass. It's like the kick drum and the bass. And that's the thing that makes people move. So when you build it and build it and build it, and you take away the bass, and then you hit them with all the bass. I mean, this isn't even an amazing example, but you know, like if I was to turn the kick drum up a bit. Let me just check this. Right. Yeah, let's do this up. Okay, so that sounds a bit more thumpy now, right? So if I was to do exactly the same thing again with the bass notes, I'm going to take it away and then I'm going to bring it back with that bass. And I'll tell you something else I'll do as well. I'll boost the bass. So this is something I do quite a lot with DJing. I will bring it higher and higher and higher with this. I'll turn that to the right so it takes away all the bass, and just before I bring it in I'll boost the lows just to about maybe the first notch, maybe even the second notch. So when I take the highs, then just before the drop, make sure you bring the bass back in by moving it into the center with that boosted. So when the bass hits, it's like it hits harder. So I'll show you. What I would typically do is bring it up, 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 I'll use this one here. And then when it's all the way up here, just before it drops, I'll bring it back and I'll boost the bass up. So what I would typically do is boost that bass up as I'm going higher and higher and higher with this. Then I boost the bass up, and then right before the drop, bring it back and let it hit hard, like this. Bring it back now. That's not even an amazing drop, but you can kind of get an idea of why that works. So in this video, hopefully I've explained to you exactly what the mids, highs, lows, what exactly is going on with the high pass filter, with the highs, with the lows, and how you could use it with DJing. And it also works, as I explained in my course, with blending tracks. So if one track is playing here with a kick drum, and this one, or say if this track's playing with a kick drum and you're bringing a track from this track, you could take the kick drum away from this track as you blend it in, so you don't have two kick drums competing with each other. Or if this track here has got a tick, 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 and then on this side the track's going tick, 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 those might clash, so you can just take away the highs of the one and bring in the other one. Again, I explain all this more in my course, which you can go to beginnerdjlessons.com. There'll be a link underneath this video, and I'll teach you everything you need to know about DJing. But this video is mainly about just teaching people exactly what the high pass filter actually does. Okay, hopefully you've learned a bit. Speak to you soon. Bye.